As we mentioned earlier in the newscast, GOP candidate Nikki Haley is turning her attention to South Carolina. The first primary in a southern state takes place on February 24th. Haley is a South Carolina native and later was governor of the Palmetto State. She heads there, having finished third in Iowa and second in New Hampshire. Her opponent, former President Donald Trump, has received several key endorsements from South Carolina officials, including Senator Tim Scott. And for analysis, let's turn now to Mene Ukueberuwa, member of the Editorial Board at the Wall Street Journal. Mene, great to have you back. So set the stage for us. How big is the South Carolina primary, and how do you think it will help or hurt Haley that voters there, are already familiar with her?
Sure. Well, if Nikki Haley has any chance of contesting the Republican primary process against Donald Trump, it's going to be made or broken in South Carolina. As you mentioned, that's her home state, where she has very, very high name recognition. As of today, she's already pouring millions of dollars into a large-scale ad campaign, has several weeks to prepare to make her case against Donald Trump there. And so she really has to win that state in order to show primary voters in subsequent states that there really is a contest going on here, that some people are looking for an alternative, and see if she can continue the fight onto the convention.
Mene, how much could it help former President Donald Trump that he's already received endorsements from both South Carolina Senators Tim Scott and Lindsey Graham, plus the state's current governor?
Well, I think it needs to be made clear that Donald Trump didn't require the endorsements of any politician to rack up a large lead in South Carolina. It's a deeply conservative state. It voted for him by large margins in both 2016 and 2020. He's very popular there and appeals to the Republican Party base there. But it definitely does help, I think, to be able to say that all of these other politicians from this state are already on board with his campaign. He's trying to argue that Nikki Haley is only still in the contest because of her own vanity, but the Republican Party has made its decision, and pointing to those endorsements as well as the polls helps him to get that point across.
Yeah, and the primary in South Carolina, it's considered an open primary. For those that don't know what that means, tell us more about that, and could it lead to Democrats casting a vote in the Republican race?
Yes. So there are several different structures of primary across different states. Some have ones where it's very narrowly constricted to people who have a pre-existing registration with that party. So only registered Republicans would be able to vote. And then there are open ones, which includes New Hampshire and, as you said, South Carolina, where it's made fairly easy for voters to switch their registration and be able to vote in the Republican primary. So independents can vote in it. Even Democrats who change their registration can vote in it. And that's seen as something that could help Nikki Haley because she appeals to a more moderate part of the Republican Party base. And so she'll be making her pitch to a lot of moderate suburbanites in South Carolina to come out and vote for her and see if they can help her stay in this competition against Donald Trump.
Yeah, and she says that, she plans to remain in the contest at least until Super Tuesday in early March. Is that a wise strategy? And how important is South Carolina for her?
Well, I think it's a wise strategy to express optimism about how far she can go and how well she'll perform in South Carolina. Obviously, the voters who support her don't want to hear her saying that it's all over or suggesting that she has an insurmountable climb to come back against Donald Trump. So I think that she's basically talking tough and saying that she knows she's going to roll into Super Tuesday. In reality, if she doesn't manage to win her own home state of South Carolina, it will be very hard for her to make the case that she has any ability to come back, and it will be very hard for her to continue to raise money. So I would expect it would be possible that, in fact, she would drop out if she isn't able to pull off the comeback win.
All right, we're going to leave it right there. Mene, great to be with you as always. Thank you for your insights.
Thanks very much, Tracy.